Pastor is a small, small glimpse of the heart of God. Because he will cry when you cry. He will laugh and rejoice when you rejoice. And when you hurt, he hurts. The same way our Heavenly Father. And I tell you, when he knows we have a need and he can't do anything about it, he goes to the man higher. Our Father who is in heaven. Now that's the best picture the Lord ever painted for me, for a pastor. And we have two great pastors that we're going to honor this afternoon. I have a couple of testimonies here from people who wanted to say a few words. The first one is Kristen. Praise the Lord.
So excited. Diane came to me before service and said, Kirsten, would you share a few words? And I said, I would gladly share a few words. I appreciate Pastor Jim and his family because they are more than a pastor. They are friends. And I thank God for that, for the heart of a pastor who is willing to take those under his wing. And he's willing to mentor in discipleship and pour his life, his very life and his heart into whatever he does. And we have a pastor who is passionate about the work of God, passionate about the vision that God has put on his heart for here. And he is concerned with the well-being of those that God has entrusted with him, to him. And I appreciate that coming from my heart, that we have a pastor who we can trust. We have a church where we can come and be safe. We have a pastor who reflects the character of Jesus Christ. And that is something so incredible. And I just want to say, Pastor Jim, that I appreciate you so much from my heart, that I'm truly thankful to be able to serve at a church where we have a pastor like we do. Amen.
Yeah, Vicki?
Praise God, everybody. I just want to say that I appreciate both of my pastors because they're men of God and they're very steadfast and they do not waver. They do not compromise the message that Jesus always had, which is to seek the lost. I also appreciate the females because behind every good man there's a good female.
Praise the Lord. Next is Aurora Park.
Well, Diane said I would have to speak downstairs, but I guess this is okay. About 6 months ago, I was sitting in the congregation of another church, and I knew for a while that it was time for me to go, but I had been praying because I didn't know where. And Pastor Jim was the guest speaker that morning, and the minute that he spoke and he preached, I knew in my heart that this is where God wanted me to be, wherever he was the shepherd, wherever he was pastoring. And I came and I knew instantly the worship style was so different, and I just knew in my heart that this was it. And since that time, I've seen my children change, they've blossomed, they've come out of their shells, and I've grown so much spiritually, and I've learned, and I've been blessed. And I want to thank Pastor for welcoming me into the church, for embracing me, and for being there for me. He's been just awesome. He's been something else. He's cried with me. He has mentored me. He's pastored me. He's just really been there when I needed him through different circumstances of my life. Always speaking the truth. He never said what I wanted to hear. He told me what God had laid on his heart and what I needed to hear from a biblical perspective, not this is what you want to hear from your own personal standpoint. So I want to thank you. I want to thank you for being a pastor to my son, Josh. And I'm just grateful that the Lord brought me here.
Next we have Phil.
Pastor Jim, Pastor Lewis, their hunger for righteousness and wisdom, for their obedient spirit through God's will and not man's, for their love and passion and endurance to stay with us. I'm thankful for Pastor Jim and Pastor Lewis' integrity, their dedication to God, to a godly vision. And God bless you always.
Next is Jody.
Diane caught me this morning as well early in the church and asked if I could say a few words. But what I have to say can't be encompassed in a few words. Forgive me. This church, this congregation, and these men have saved my marriage. We've never been a couple that attend church regularly or put God first. But by coming here and learning what an awesome God can do when you have two men and their families surrounding them that hold you up and push you forward, and beautiful people like you, there's nothing that's impossible. And today and every day, I thank God for the day that Ashley called and asked us to be her friend at church. Because that's what brought us here. But that's not what made us stay. And there's no other place that we can I'd rather worship than here with all of you. And from my heart, I thank you both. I thank your families, and I thank this congregation for embracing us. God bless you all. We love you, and we love you. Thank you.
Husband and wife, take a look. Next we have Jasmine.
Actually, I just want to say thank you to Pastor Lewis. I mean, I know I'm not around a lot. We try and come up here as much as we can. We live in New Jersey. We try and come up here as much as we can. I want to say thank you to Pastor Lewis for being a friend to us, to me as well, since we've been here. And there's two men in my life that have given me so far everything. One is my fiancé, Raymond. But if it hadn't been for my father, I couldn't
hadn't been for my father, I wouldn't be here. And I want to say thank you. I want to say thank you to my father. I want to say thank you to all of you, because even though you don't know us, you've been the best of friends. It's really awkward. But I just wanted to say thank you to my dad.
Praise the Lord. Next from the teams, we have Jen.
Well, okay. You see, when Gina had called me the other night, I was at work. I got home, played her message, and then I told her yeah, and then I realized, what am I going to say? So I talked to my mom, and she's like, well, don't write it down, because then it won't come from the heart, and then you'll be reading the paper. So I'm just going to try to play this off the top of my head. Well, I was thinking really recently about the first time I came here was when Stephen had passed away, and it was like I was in my own little world. I was watching tapes from Touchdown in Allentown, and Pastor Jim was preaching and all that, and I was just like in my own little world thinking about totally a different thing. I don't even know what. And you could see in my face and everything that truly I just wanted to be helped, and I wanted to have some kind of confidence in myself. And then I started coming here. I was in the hospital, and I come back, and my mom goes, guess where we're going Sunday? I said, where? Back to that church. And I started, yes. And she was like, do you want to go to church? And, you know, she used to like, don't you want to go to church? No, I'm tired. I got to sleep. No, I'm tired. You know, you would come up with anything. I'd come to church once in a blue moon, mostly for communion, because I thought that's what I needed to do. But I would be like, looking at my watch, and come on, it's 45 minutes in like 5 years. Then, the first time I came here, I talked to Ann and Steve, and they told me, well, the church is about 2 hours long. I looked at them like, 2 hours? I can't sit in church for 45 minutes, let alone 2 hours. And now I come here, and sometimes when Pastor Jim preaches, it's like, is that it? I want to sit here. I want more. And I used to think, you know, when I first started coming here, my mom was like, you're going to go to Wednesday night, you're going to go with Pastor Lewis. And I looked at her like, who? Well, then I was sitting there, and I was like, all, you know, mad and stuff, and Pastor Lewis completely knocked off my socks. I thought it was going to be a Reverend Ipsy, you know, boring, put me to sleep. And, you know, the way he would talk and stuff, he'd make it, like, amusing, you know, funny. It was just, like, exactly for us teens, you know. It wasn't, like, in general. It was more in for us, you know. So, I guess that's all I have to say.